Hi, howdy ho. I'm sure my audio is fine, and I'll do my video now. We just made a pretty big mistake. A really frustrating mistake. Really fucking frustrating. Alright. So, I'm making a collar. And I fucked up and made a really shitty collar, and then we made a new pattern four-set collar, and now that's also not very good. So, bunch of things wrong, which is lovely, don't you think? And this shape doesn't make any sense to me. Stitched. So this goes up there. Draw that, cut that. In theory, I'm going to take that material, throw that over there. Hi there, first time chat. Kabisabu. Kabisabu? How have you described that? Oh no, my facial hair is awful. How am I doing? I'm doing alright. My facial hair looks awful, but aside from that, I'm doing alright. I'm just reeling from a terrible fucking mistake. I managed to draw the outline of a pattern and then cut to the outline rather than allowing seam allowance. Which, if you are unaware of the practices of making clothes, seam allowance allows you to stitch it and therefore have a seam, hence its name. And it's pretty fucking painful when you cut to the final dimension and not to your seam allowance. Because when you do that, the entire piece is ruined, and either you find another piece that you're making that fits inside that, or the material is scrapped. Which, in this instance, because it's a piece of material this big, it got scrapped. It's really annoying. But it's alright, you live and let learn. It just serves as a really good reminder to not screw up next time. Always do a line for seam allowance, even if you don't need one, because I promise you, you will need one at some point. How are you doing? Have you had a good week? It is a Sunday. Ready for a new week tomorrow? You've got a fun Monday or a Garfield Monday? Also, my voice to music might be a little loud, but whatever. It's one of those things that we'll have to deal with. Oh, fucking Jesus. There we go. Okay. See, I just almost made the same mistake again, so I'm glad that I learned from my mistake, at least partially. Because otherwise, it would have been really embarrassing. What the fuck? When you cut fabric and then it disappears, I don't know where it went. It's very confusing. Anyway, we're making this, which is a coat. Like that. See? But it's got some interesting things going on. Okay, so we've got this drawn up. We've just dropped a pin. Great. I'll have to find that later. No, let's not find it later. Let's find it now. If I don't find it, the bottom of my foot will, or worse yet, a dog will. Let's. Bugger. Ah, found it. And I unplugged my headphones in the process. Isn't that wonderful? Right, I'll be back in 1 second. I've got to check on something. Right. Oh, Clee. I only got 2 meters of my final material. God, I hope it's going to be enough. Fucking hope. Hope and pray, because there's literally nothing else that can save my ass. If I don't have enough, I'm screwed. I've got some shortcuts, but like it'll be a disaster, truly. Right. So which side are we doing? This side. Come on, behave. That side. This side. This side. That line is really important because it tells me which side I'm pinning. I didn't know which side I was pinning. I pinned the wrong side. Okay, right. We've got a coat on our lap. Find our spine. That's a shoulder, so follow the shoulder round and we will find our spine. Hello, no, that's a sleeve. No, that's the shoulder. There we go. Right, so I need to touch it like this. I'm going to use clips because they're easy. And I'm going to be, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be smart. I'm going to be really smart. So normally you wouldn't backstitch on a mock-up like this, because if you did and you had to unpick it like we had to do for the collar here, it would be a problem. However, I'm attaching complex geography, and complex geography does not do well when you have a lot of flexibility in the material, because you need accuracy, and accuracy comes from rigidity. All of these big multiple syllable words. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring our machine close. Flashing them. There we go. Great. Okay, so. Tricky. Very tricky. Oh, ow. I just quite badly hurt my finger. Now that's got a bit of a lock stitch. Quite a useless stitch, but it's useful in this one scenario because it's keeping the seam pressed open essentially. You know, because I'm having to deal with these two seams crossing, and much like the sleeves, it's not easy to manage. So I'm having to manage however I can muster the strength to, and my easiest way of doing that is by sewing this seam line down. Right, if this fucks up, I'm really annoyed. Yeah, it fucked up. Thankfully, this was the best fuck up it could have been. Alright. We're officially rethreaded. Pull that tension through. Okay, let's get back into position. Okay. Let's get ready to stitch another line. Oh. Okay. Hi there, I can't check chat, but if you just give me one moment. Hi Hector, I'm making a coat, this coat specifically. It's taking effort. It is taking fucking effort. I'm using machinery that can stab through my finger, so forgive me for focusing on that for a moment. But, yeah. It is cool. It is kind of cool. That is a bit cool, yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Not a very dignified entrance, but hey, what you gonna do? I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Basically, we're trying to get the collar working. And I'll be honest. Is this a bit busy? Can you do it? Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Come on, smaller? No, bigger. Yeah. Yes. Good girl, Janet. But you're in the wrong place, which I'll forgive you. So. Basically, when I fold over the lapel, match that down, fold this over, fold that over. Yeah, I think that'll work. You know what? I think I might have bloody just done it. Genius. And then I can like pop the collar, and it's ooh cool. How does that look? Yeah, it's a bit like angular, but I don't hate it for it. I think I should shorten off these ends a bit. See, once these are heavier and they've got a bit more mass to them, I'll be able to actually like use them in a good way. What are we thinking? Should we just shorten it and cut it to there? So that when these fold out. Looks good. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it on this. That's Janet. That means this is Eloise. Let's get our camera software. Yeah. Right. Let's take this off. It's surprising how warm just this one thin layer, well, supposedly thin layer of fabric can get me. Right, it does definitely heat me up. Right. Let's put you on that. I know the lighting isn't very good, but you'll just have to suck it up. Right. We pop the collar. Got this. Very awkward mess. Makes you want to do that a bit. Then we fold the collar over, round, that over that. You get this. So most of this corner is hidden. But you know what? I think I'm just going to keep it with that corner. Because when these get folded in, like this, right? This gets folded in to look something like that. Got little pins here. You can't see any of this, for which I apologise. And then take this, fold that in there, fold that in there, fold that back up to be that. And these lie together, and they will lie together. They will make, essentially, the points will meet. So you'll get this sort of like almost like spider, like coffin effect. So it goes, curves up in and then curves around. So yeah, I'm going to leave them with that point. I'm happy with that. So that's the outside layer done. That's the outside layer, that's the outside collar done. Now I need to do the inside. Thankfully, I have another scrap of material, which we can use just fine, like that. Anyway, Hector, darling, what are you up to at present? I'm making myself a drink, because I can already feel my voice getting irritated. Oh, we're out of focus. Thank you. Well, I was expecting multitasking, but I'm glad to be surprised. Well, cheers. God, that is nice when you haven't had a drink in a moment. Okay, so I have a sheet of material and I have a pattern. This pattern says, what am I drinking? I am drinking cordial, which is squash, or I don't know what you Americans call it. Yeah, cordial, squash, whatever. Plus fizzy water. So it's essentially like a dilutable, sugary. It's not that sugary. It's something, it's diluted, but it's diluted like sugar fruit stuff. Is what like squash and I don't know. Look up the definition of squash. It'll teach you better than me. But yeah, blackcurrant squash plus fizzy water means my homemade fizzy drink. I like fizzy drinks. I like fizzy drinks a lot, so much so that I have the ingredients to make them underneath my desk at all times. That is how much I like fizzy drinks. Right. So what I'm doing now is I'm using my pins to pin this material on a fold. So it's folded in half, and now I am pinning to stop it from moving off of that shape, off of the fold. So we've got our fold line here, which I don't need to pin, but I'll use some of my clips to pin the paper to it. And then I'm using my standard pins to pin just the edges, so I don't have to worry about the two pieces of fabric shifting, because I'm going to be doing some stuff. So if I place this piece on the fold and I take our clips, they have a round side. They have a round side and a flat side, so you can put them flat against the surface with the flat side, open it by just pushing down, and you can slide it underneath your fabric, and it makes it super duper easy to clip without like disturbing the fabric, which is great when you're trying to draw on the edges because you don't really feel like disturbing the fabric. I use a ruler to help pin down the paper on its edges, so I apply basically the same that you would like if you put your hand on a edge of something to keep it pressed down and still when you're drawing. I use the ruler to spread out the surface area, to spread out the pressure over the surface area of the ruler, which sort of clamps down on the edge. Then I take my tailor's chalk and I rub it along the edge. And much like using like spray paint and a stencil, I have a portion nice hard edge on the inside. Basically, a pattern is just a stencil, but you don't use paint, you use chalk. And there you go. You now have a nice clean outline. And it's cool stuff. Right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unclip. Be really delicate here. I'll try and see if I can do this in two. I think I can. Hey, look at that. Nice. Right. Now I can unpin it. But I don't need to do anything else yet. Fold it over. I'm actually now going to use the ruler and the chalk to mark my halfway line. Or a little bit off. Thankfully chalk line's nice and thick, so that doesn't matter much. What material? I am let's find out what material I'm using. I'm pretty sure it's 100% cotton. Pretty sure. And there's one very easy way of finding out. Oh. Stay. Hi there. Fire. Well done, Hector. Hector has figured it out. Yes, we do indeed burn it to figure out. Yeah, that is in fact cotton. It's a fun trick. Yeah, cotton. Yeah, so this is 100% cotton fabric. It's got a pretty standard tight weave. Nothing really special about the material. One of my party tricks is playing with cotton balls on fire. Because the thing is, if you clamp something down, even if it's only a 6-inch flame, if you clamp down, you kind of don't get burnt by it. You get like a little singe, but you don't really get burnt by it. It's fine. Right. What I did not do was mark which side was which. So I'm marking a V on one side of our pattern because on my paper pattern I've got V's following one edge, and when I am pinning this up to then stitch it, put a bit of weight on. When I'm pinning this up to stitch it, I am going to want/need to have a little bit of direction, because this shape is kind of ambiguous. It's like it's almost symmetrical on the 4 quadrants, except it's not, but it's really close to symmetrical, which makes it really, really tricky when you're trying to do things the right way, because if you get it upside down or inside out, it will cause you some problems. So I have to be nice and careful and make sure I know what side is what. So my reference side is indicated via some arrows. Nice helpful arrows. Oh shoot. See, that, kids, is why we are careful. Keep track of our markings, because if we don't, they're going to keep track of us. Now obviously fabric shifts, so you can never actually make a 100% accurate to pattern anything. Because fabric shifts, stitching itself has funny bits of little room for error in everything. Every part of a coat or anything like that will have error in it. We will have, even professional grade stuff, you can find little spaces where it's not quite right. Simply put, you will get more consistent the more you do something, which is no surprise to anyone, but at a certain point you have to admit and understand that it doesn't matter, it's not that deep. There is complete space and room for error, especially error as small as this. Completely. No question about it. Like, it's not even slightly difficult, because if I made the same t-shirt 3 times, and I made one where I sewed on the inside of every white line, one where I sewed on the outside of every white line, and another one where I sewed exactly on the line every single time, you would see about, over the entire width, over the entire dimension, an increase of maybe a centimetre, which my body, if you measure the wraparound for my chest, is 58 inches. There are 2-point-something centimetres in an inch. It's less than half an inch in its increase in size. And I can actually, with this quite stretchy fabric, stretch it another half inch. So it really doesn't matter. And I can shorten this shirt by a half inch, and it doesn't matter. So it's very much worth pointing out the fact that regardless of your plans, fabric's going to do what pressure it burns. About 3/8, maybe. Let me find out. Fuck me, yeah, almost exactly 3/8. Well done. Yeah, 3/8 of an inch. I hate that American numbers are all fractions. I think that's barbaric. Truly I do. I think that's insane. And the fact that you guys just kind of live with it is silly. Also, something that I hate is that in modern precise engineering, so going down to with the thousandths of an inch being your biggest number, it has to be fractions, because in order to measure minute details down to a really precise level, unless you're using image magnification, where you are scientifically magnifying images, and you're using little physical dials, it all has to use gears, and gears work with ratios so much better than they work with decimal systems. So your half an inch, quarter, eighth, 16th, 32nd, all of that kind of stuff, that is all quite ridiculously ironically precise, because by using gear ratios, so having a big wheel, a small wheel, and the right teeth rating, all that kind of stuff, and making really precise gears, you can manufacture, or at least measure, to incredibly precise, minute numbers, minute changes, all because of fucking gears, and it's silly. But it all has to be ratio, because a fraction is a ratio, it's 1 out of blank. Which is actually the same way you write ratios and fractions, so whole thing. Up, drop. Drop. Right, now we have a second collar. One collar is attached, isn't it? I did stitch that, right? I think so. But regardless of whether that's attached or not, we can attach this one. Right. Okay, so there is a really nice jumper on this mannequin, and it's really annoying because I've wanted to wear that jumper and it's on the mannequin. So I can't take it off because it would be really annoying to put it back on. Anyway, and I had to stitch the armholes closed. I had to run a little stitch through and stitch the armholes closed. Silly little things. Okay, so this should be relatively easy. He says incorrectly, as he does not, in fact, have the mark/measurement for a thing that he needs. Let's move all the way down further, but not too much further. Yeah, there we go. One more. Front. 3 1/8. Fuck, I use a ruler. So 3 1/8 in. Okay, cool. Okay, half, quarter, eighth, 3 1/8. Beep, bop, boop. Give me my chalk mark. Yeah. Oh shit. Woo. Oakley dokley. Lovely. So, ugh, I have to do this upside down because I don't trust myself. Hup, 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 hup. Just do this over here. No matter. So, 3 1/2, 3 1/4, 3 1/8. Over there. Right. So that is our size. So, what we want to do is Google a video, because I have a video on this that I'm going to mute and watch. So I can't see chat for just a moment. I'm watching a lady build a thing. So she attaches the collar and then she just pockets, and then the liner for the sleeve is the last thing that she does, so I'm just gonna go with it. Okay, so right. So we've got two pieces of collar. Is it one's attached to both? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So one's attached to both. And then we stitch the top seam. And then it gets understitched, which I don't know what that is, but I'm sure I'll find out. So we stitch them, and then we leave it, and then we do the complicated bit of the lapels. So we need arms. We can stitch this to this, but we will need to make the sleeves next, regardless of if we do. Yeah, the next thing after this is sleeves, or we don't do this and we do sleeves. I'm going to do this first because I've got it right in front of me. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this inside out. And then I'm going to turn this like this. And line up my centers and lines. So, tip for when using these clips, because they have that flat side, you want the flat side going against the bed of your sewing machine, right? I'm going to show you here, it's got a flat surface underneath in this well that I can stick my hand into, needles coming down in this shiny bit. So if you have the flat here, then it will run through with the material and keep it relatively flat, which stops it from getting wrinkles and getting the wrong bend whilst stitching. Whereas if you flip it, you can see that it's lifting the fabric up, which means that one side will be pulled more than the other, and if you've got thin or thick fabric, it'll affect it differently. So, something to keep an eye out for. If you're ever using a sewing machine and these types of clips specifically. But you should sort of generally be aware of, or at least be keeping an eye out for how your stitching is going to affect the surrounding piece. Right, okay, so let's just do the other side of the middle piece. Yeah, I think that's good. Lovely. Oh, this is fiddly. Fiddly fucking business. Hey. I've also taken to the habit of after pinning, which is basically pinning after the end of your stitch line, because it kind of makes sense too. Right, I now need to do double checks in my head, because I'm pretty sure if we stitch them both this way, that means that when they're both combined, they will have to be facing each other. That has to be the way. As long as this seam matches every other seam, which it does because we're in the way of the other seams, which means it's matching them, then yes, this is correct. It's frustrating, but that makes it even more so correct. Okay. Rest assured, knowing that this bullshit is correct. Okay, speaking of bullshit, let's pull our thread through. Okay, and drop our needle and try to fucking find out where it's supposed to land. Somewhere around there. Yeah, that'll do. Right. Let's sort of mess about with the tension of this fabric. Yes, I was correct. That is where we're penetrating the fabric. Let's drop our foot. Has this little foot that pins the fabric down. Run a stitch line. Cool, now we're done. I can now not really relax, but I can make it work. Okay. Now the nerve-wracking bit. Did I do it right? Is it horrendous? Starting off on our end. Have a look. That's not very well done. Let's sort of cut that in a big way. That's not bad. It's got the same sort of cutting, but it's not bad. We've got a little bit of wrinkling in the fabric. That's not very good. That's offline a bit still, but that's not bad. I'll call it as not bad. Right. Okay. Okay. Collar attached. Collar running. Collar groovy, baby. Right, let's stick this back on the model.
Hi.
Oh, hey, Finnick. How are you doing? Reminder, we are live, just double checking.
Yeah, I know.
Good.
I'm not gonna stay online just because I'm laying in bed, so.
No worries, you are too loud. Speak. Say something. Hi. Say something again. Speak, Finnick.
I am in bed.
I had you up loud for previous calls and conversations, I think.
I know my mic has been effing with me today.
Well, no, it's not that. Yeah, it was, yeah, from either the last time or the time before we called, I put your volume up. So...
Now I was really loud.
Yes. But I've already made that adjustment, so you don't have to worry about that. Put this up, drop that through. Ooh, that's kind of cool. We're doing more work on the coat, which I'm sure you are watching or whatever.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's going well. It's not easy. It's not easy work, but it's not going horrific. Could probably be going better. I will be honest. But yeah, whatever. There's stuff that's getting sorted out. Basically, doing the collar right now, which is tricky. Collars are tricky as. Why are you following me? Camera, you weren't supposed to be following me. Collars are tricky as hell. They're really complex shapes that wrap around you in a really complex way.
Yeah.
Oh, well, of course it's wrong. It's inside out.
But it looks like you're doing a good job anyways.
Thank you.
From here.
All the way in Sweden, it looks like I'm doing a good job.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very far away, but
Still, positive review is a positive review, right? Where's my collar? Right over here. Good sign.
Is it going better this time around?
Oh yes. Yes, well I got it right, didn't I?
Perfect.
Just gonna get the sleeves right. Pull this through properly. Oh, we got a pinch point. Yeah, we got 2 pinch points. So that'll have to be addressed in future. But for now, we can leave this to however it wants to be. Shut up. Right. Ta-da. But wait, there's more. This then goes over. So let's fold this up like this. This then comes over. Over and around. Get this side. You know. Just fold all of that shit through. Oh, you know what? That's not hideous. I know it's only sort of its beginning moments, but if I get these through and around how they're supposed to be. Oh, you know what? Doesn't that look proper?
It does.
Doesn't that look how it's supposed to look? Come on! For some twat in his room, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm doing extraordinarily well.
By HTC.
Yes, that is Hector. Oh, you've got to go? Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't see that. Goodbye, Hector. I hope everything goes well. Right. There's that bit done. Now sleeves. Sleeves is the next bit. Do I have a pattern for sleeves? I'm not sure I have a pattern for sleeves. See, here's the thing about sleeves. And it's something that's worth saying. Sleeves usually take up more material than your back. And let me explain why. So if I show you on Eloise here, so on the back of this model here, beep boop, pull that up. There we go. Look at that. Oh, looks so good. Right. So if we say that the amount of material it takes to, like, if we rolled out material, put the paper pattern down, drew out around it, and cut it out, that would essentially be a rectangle for the panel of your back. That would be, let's just make it huge, 18 inches by, what, 24. So that's an 18 by 24 inch gap, square, fully square, right? Which is enough material to make the back panel. That's just what it is. If I lift over and find my sizes for my sleeves, it is a 2, not 1 but 2, and it's trapezoids, which trapezoids are basically, you take a rectangle and then one of the sides is shorter than the other side, so it's still got 4 sides but there's 0 right angles and it's still 2 parallel sides. It's like a parallelogram, except from it's not one, it's a trapezoid shapes. Except at the top of the trapezoid there's actually a curve, because that's where it goes for your shoulder, because it's not like square, it's actually curved. And that is 22 inches wide. This is 18. This is actually not. This is 17.18 or something. But we went 18 inches is bigger than this. 22 is even wider. 22 inches wide, and then 11 inches for around your wrist. Oh no, sorry, tell a lie. I got that wrong. It is 20 inches wide, 11 inches wide at the bottom, which, just for reference, 11 inches, for those who don't have an organic tape measure, is this big. So it's almost as wide as my hips, it's about as wide as my waist. And then, here's the glorious part, it is 22 inches long, which is where we got the 22 from. So it's 20 wide, 22 down, which should be about, guess where 22 inches is. I'm going to guess, I've got a pin here with a coloured head, so wherever the coloured head is, I think 22 inches is going to be right around there. So, where we've got that coloured dot, I think that's 22 inches, so let's find out. So, if I stick the 22 on there, oh, I am 2 inches off. Wait, am I? Fuck off. Fuck off, my smart. Oh, I am half an inch away from being perfect. Look at that. That was pretty good. But that's 22 inches. So, but that's for one arm. I have to make 2 of those. One for both arms, and then, like the back piece, which has a liner, the sleeves have liners, so I've then got to make another 2 of the exact same shape to go inside that actually touches the skin. So yeah, it's a whole deal. It's a lot of fabric for just the sleeves. Like, I don't have a paper pattern big enough, I think. And on top of it, in order to pattern out your sleeves, usually you'll be doing it on a fold line, which I don't know if I've done. I don't know if I've patterned out my sleeves. Oh, but I can show you. This is all of the patterning. This is the entire shape of the entire thing. it's all laid out as if it's been unstitched. It's just all of that. This is a scale model, and it's like complete estimate. It's not to scale. It's not a scale model. It's scaled down. But yeah, that's what we're working for. That's what we want at the end of the day. It's taking fucking effort. Right. So this is more of my fabric. I don't have too much of the scrap fabric left. My modeling fabric here. Let's see what I have. So this is the top of the sleeve, right? So this arc is the top of the sleeve. But I don't think I have a sleeve pattern done. What I do have, however, is a long sheet of paper. So I say, I've been streaming for an hour and a quarter. If we make our sleeve pattern, and then we wrap things up, and I can go to sleep, or something like that. Ooh. Ik moedlich. Did I do that right? Finnick. Finnick, have you fallen asleep? She fucking has. Sorry, I'm so boring. No, I know it's not my fault. She was already in bed and tired. But you shouldn't fall asleep on call if it's the fucking stream call, because that's dangerous. Because what if you fart? What if you fart? What if worse than a fart is a snore? What if you snore? Like poor Hallie. I'm sorry, Hallie, but there are stream recordings that are VODs on the fucking channel that definitely exist. There isn't much room for mistake here. Right, let's grab a long metal ruler and measure out 22 inches. Stay. 22 inches. Oh, thank God. And double check the book. 22 in length, 11 on the end, 20 there. Okay, cool. So let's take our scissors, just trim off the big ugly end. It gets in our way. We're not going to need it, and it's in the way. Right. Thank you, you useless reptile. Oh, it's so close. If I can just lift this up, put this here and drop this down. Nice. Okay, so 22 inches is a certain length. It's less than this by a long shot, so as long as I can put this down somewhere, it's okay. We'll be able to fit it in. Just got to be sensible, which is a rarity for me, especially when my music stops. Okay, so. Right, thank you, long straight ruler. Literally the only thing that this ruler gets used for is like a single line and then it's chucked back on the wall. Let's just start it at arbitrary points. Fuck it. 22 starts there. Boom. Pull some tension. And it ends at 1 inch there. Cool. Now, I go ahead. I use my smart brain. Flip this over. Bink, bonk, bonk. And I line this up somehow. Oh, bugger! Oh, bugger balls! I made a mistake. Thankfully, it's reconcilable, but still, I made a mistake. It's embarrassing, but it happened. Who's in this call? Oh no, she just fucking snored. Alrighty. I'm sorry, honey. You're having to disconnect now. Disconnect. Bye bye. Fall asleep on call. It's what happens. I'm not going to bother doing the full arc. I'm just going to do like dot notation of it. So that I can redraw the arc however I want to, when I want to. Sick. Cool. Now 22 inches past this line, which I'm going to fold that up for. Real smart. Somehow get the tape measure in a knot. Uncoil it. Guessing 2 inches past. Ooh, almost 2.5. Yes. Yes, queen. 22 inches. There. There. Come on. Right, how do I get a right angle? I trace a right angle. How do I get a right angle? By being smart. So, what is half of 11? It is 5.5. 5.5 inches. See that? You can definitely find someone with a biological measure for. Biological or anatomical, it doesn't particularly matter. Both are correct. Within context. Cool. And now we take our big ruler. Big Tesco's, big ruler. Same vibe. drop it, lift it, twist it, pull it, bop it, pen to rule, line, tip to tip, and fucking flawless. Almost. That's close enough. Okay, so where's our fold? Place on fold. Place on fold. Stitch line. Line, and then let's make this curve a reality. Okay, so that's that done, that's that done, let's move that over there, close that up, that over there, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. This is still useful, keeping it, just in case. Let's cut this out. So, this is going to be cut out to the line, and it's going to be cut out pretty precisely, so no speed running. See, this is where having a guillotine is useful. One of those paper guillotines that you can just like run the length of something really long down. Now, what I don't know how to do is cuffs. And cuffs would make this even longer. Right? Like, cuffs would make this unbearably long. You know, and if I went for big, like, flashy cuffs, kind of cuffs that make it difficult to roll up your sleeves and look a bit sort of like piratey, I would have to add another minimum 5 inches of fabric on the end of this. And that's final dimension, that's not including seam allowance. But hey, there we go. Just how things be. at least my concentration phase when cutting and using scissors doesn't involve me sticking my tongue out, because it totally could. And sometimes when I'm stitching, I catch myself with my tongue sticking out of my face. It's unfair to me, because some people find that cute when you're concentrating and you're stung and they're like you're biting your tongue, right? Like just trying to focus on something, but it's too cute, alright? My intention isn't to look cute. Anyway, here's our pattern. That's our sleeve pattern. I'm going to write sleeve on it, because sleeve, 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 round, dot, 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 close. Poggers. Right, so that's our stitch line, that's our place on fold. This is really important work. This is really important work, because without properly documenting this, I'm not going to be able to fix mistakes. I'm not going to be able to make things the right way. It's just a reality. It's the unfortunate reality, but it is the reality. I will not be able to make the right coat, and I definitely won't be able to make the same coat again if I don't write down all of the information that I have. Everything. If I don't write it down, I'm screwed. As literally as you can imagine. Because I've spent some very nice money on some very nice fabric. And that means that there are financial consequences for the failure of this project. This coat is going to be worth over £500 just through materials and labour. And this pattern is probably worth over £40. These paper patterns worth over 60. Like if I scanned these and had a PDF document, I'd sell that for probably £15-20, which for patterns is really expensive. Usually patterns are no more than £7. So it's really like, this is really specific shit. Really specific. The collar's all wrong. The collar is basically an eye. And it's even then, it's still not done. Right, notes for V2. I know I've got a notes for V2 somewhere. Hold on. Okay, sleeve, pleats on tops, not below. 11-inch cuff. No, I can scratch that out. It's fine. Yeah, that's all. All of those notes have been solved. So, get rid of that tape. Notes of production. Pattern inconsistencies. Side panel changed. What else has changed? Oh yes, heights on most patterns will need to be changed. Nothing else has changed. Nothing else has changed. I've updated the collar. The collar is now final collar. Side panel changed. Front to side in brackets. Next step. NXT step. Next step. Sleeves. Do you want to bother with lining the sleeves on this prototype? Yeah, we should. I'm like, if this was my final coat, I am making it. So, yeah, sleeves. 4 of them. Well, 2 of them actually. Sleeves, in brackets, ink liner. Next step, sleeves including liner. Then tails, ink liner. Full construction. Full double underline it. Wasn't the idea for the tails liner that it was going to be 2 pieces? So the tails are... Hold on. I've gotten new followers, but not from when I was streaming. Interesting. Just jitters. Regardless. Oh no, I've completely lost my train of thought. Fuck. Full construction. Tails. The next step is the tails. Now the tails are essentially 4 rectangles, and the ends of those rectangles is what makes them special. Essentially, those tails, on the center they droop down, convex curve to a nice spiky point, and then that slits up, and that's the split at the back of the tails. And then they join at the side, they've got this rise because they're convex, and then at the front they've got a concave, sorry, that's concave, and they've got a convex curve at the front where it then comes down to me at the front, and it splits up because it's a coat. So I'm going to need to make those, and they also have to have a liner. So that liner is also going to have to be stitched, and I think it will have to be stitched to our liner here. So that's really important. Where the balls am I going to be able to hide the stitching of... See, this is where we're getting into the proper like order of operations, right? Because the coat that I'm inspired by in the method of construction is essentially... Oh wait, I don't have a more accurate liner pattern, do I? Hold on, let's check. Let's check. Front, back, front liner. No, my front liner, I don't have another version of it. So I need to add that onto my notes. Of things to do. need to draft true liner and lapel liner for front, and then tails is liner. Yeah, it's only one pattern, but it's for two tails. Thank you. It's only one pattern, but it's for two tails, so that's important to remember. So, just using the note-taking paper that I've got in front of me now, I have one of them, and I've got another one. And then we have our sleeves. Because it is sleeves, it is a separate thing. And then we have our tails, which is like, if I just draw this arc. It is like boom. Boom, and then just to draw a split here and do that. Down, up. So that's our stitch points, right? So, hi! I'm so sorry, Josh. I completely missed your message. I was really focusing on the drawing. I am so sorry. If you're still, let's see if you're still in chat. Oh, you are! Hi, buddy. I am so sorry, Josh. I'm also so sorry, Hector. I'm busy doing the thinking. To answer what I'm designing a coat. You can see our first draft behind me with a bit of a scuffed collar right now. Let's fix the collar. Come on, it's picture day at school. You want to look good, don't you? That's cool. Thank you. Yeah, so this has been a project for a really long time, and we're making very slow progress on this. It's worth pointing out that I have actually never made an item of clothing before. Basically, I'm learning by throwing myself in the deep end really heavily. Like, this is definite chance of drowning deep end, which is okay. That's okay. We're allowed to be scared by this project. Right now, where we're at is we've got pretty much all of the paper patterns done except for 2. We've got the construction behind me of the torso, which is essentially perfected in its like liner and outer. The next steps for this torso is, you know, the first thing won't be the last. No, I'm certain of it. The next steps for this torso is the sleeves, which I'll be making soon. We just finished the pattern for that. The sleeves actually take the most material out of any other part of this coat. Seconded maybe by the tails, which are 4 strips on the outside and then 2 large panels on the inside, which is the other pattern that needs being drawn up. So once we have the tails stitched together, they then get attached to the torso, and then once they're attached to the torso, the liner for the tails gets attached to the this is where it gets confusing. So this is why it's really tricky. That's why it's really fucking tricky. I gotta figure out how the fuck to do this, and in what order things need to be done. So, in the video that the construction of this coat is inspired from, the coat doesn't have any tails, which means that the woman who builds this coat builds it by she starts off by stitching basically all of the pieces together separately. So the liners are separate, and then the back panels are separate, and then the sleeves are separate, and then that's it. Then she stitches the collar to both sides, because we have a liner and an outer, which she stitches the collar to both, and then she stitches them both together. Camera's just woken up. We stitch them both together via the collar at the very top. The very top of the collar, that's what's pinning them together. Then it's a case of making sure that it's sleeves before the collar. So sleeves in the shoulder holes first, then you do the collar, and that joins the liner piece to the back piece in our first instance. So you do the collar, fold it through, do the collar, fold it through, do the collar. Then there's a tricky bit of having to basically stitch it in a way where it'll fold open naturally, which you use a method of stitching that I can't remember the name of, but yeah, you use certain methods to make sure that it'll flip, where we're having this angle come down and stop, and then it flattens off. You know, we've got this breast, lapel, comes down, stops, and continues. That mark, there's a way of stitching it on the inside that makes it turn. So it's that process, and then once you've got that, you machine stitch all the way down, and then you turn it inside out so that all of our lovely seams are nice and hidden, because on the inside of our outer piece you can see all of the seams, which I know this camera can't pick it up, but regardless, they're there. And so you then proceed to flip it inside out like a sock, and everything gets hidden on the inside. So like with this t-shirt, the tag gets hidden on the inside, so does all of our seam allowances. Sounds like you know what you're talking about. May I suggest a list of steps to help me remember? Thankfully, I have a book in front of me with this much mad scrawlings that go on for pages. Just instructions, lists, just everything. Yeah. And that's what I'm figuring out now by drawing what attaches to what, in what order. Because the way she constructs it is the liner stitches to the top, then it stitches down the sides, and then she folds over and hand stitches the bottom of the liner. The reason why I can't hand stitch the bottom of the liner easily is because the bottom of the liner is the top of the liner of the tails. See you, Hector. Sorry, I can't see chat for just one moment. Just 1 second. I did, Josh. I did. I just figured it out. This problem has been plaguing me since the beginning of this entire thing, and I just fucking figured it out. Oh, fuck this. Okay, so, to explain, the dilemma about how do I do the liner comes from the fact that in what I'm learning, the liner is done at the bottom as the very last step before the buttons. Buttons are always the last thing to go on. Thank you. And the reason why it's the last step is because you need to be able to turn the coat inside out fully for the entire process of doing the collar, which obviously needs to be stitched all up here and all along this side thing. So you leave the bottom open so you can turn it inside out. And you do the same when you're doing the sleeves. The sleeves have a liner. So the problem is, how can you turn something inside out? See, the reason why you can hand stitch the bottom seam is because it's the bottom seam that no one's going to look at. It's quite an easy hand stitch because it's just a straight line along the bottom of the coat. Like, it's not actually hard to do that. It gets hard to do that when it's actually the bottom of the tails. So I can't leave the tails open because they need to be closed. They need to be closed. So how could you make them work? And I've just figured it out. Basically, the way that she stitches the liner is the liner runs the full length and the outside runs the full length. She folds up the liner on the inside. She folds up the outside on the inside. She folds up the liner even more so that there's a gap of the outside and then the liner, and she does the corner so that it folds over in on itself like this or whatever. Fold this through. Come on, behave. She does a tricky fold and then does that. So she stitches the liner above with a bit of the outside hang down at the bottom, which is what you would expect. That means that the liner just folds up underneath itself and you stitch it. So, if we have on the back of the torso, it shrinks down, and we have the section, and then we have the tails come up. Now, the outside of the tails get stitched to the outside of the torso by having their ends folded over, stitched on a line, and then the seams will be pressed flat. Standard, it's used everywhere else in this coat. Example would be the shoulders. But what if it was two of the same? So if you flipped the tails upside down and you had an open flat line, that would allow you to do whatever you wanted really easily without any consequences. And you can build these corners that the tails have whilst keeping that flat line so you can turn it inside out after you've stitched it, which is the plan. So, what if you stitch the tails as if it's one piece of material? So all of the ends are done, and then you flip the tails inside out so they're the correct way around. So the liner is done and the edging's done and it's all pretty. And then you take that and you stitch that to the underside of the torso as if it were just a single piece of fabric that goes on the inside of the outside. It goes in between the liner and the outer of the coat. So the tails goes in between the outer and the liner. So both the outer and the liner of the tails goes in between the outside and inside of the top. That way, you fold up the outside of the top, get that nice clean line, that gets stitched through really, really easily. And then you can press that seam or fold that seam down and understitch it, which is probably what's going to happen, just for strength's sakes. Because if the tails get caught in something and they pull, I don't want it to just rip free. It would be a little annoying if that happened. So in order to make that work, I would then have to hand stitch the bottom of the liner for the torso just to the liner of the tails as if it were one piece. Rather than having a folded up undersection, I would just be using the liner, which is fine. You can stitch liner to liner. It is, of course, liner, and in fact, stitching liner to liner will happen on the inside seam anyway. Makes no difference to the coat. But I could still fold it inside out. It's like a pocket. You can still fold a pocket inside out, even though the outside stays the same. So that's how it would work. That's how I would build this. That's how I have to build this, if I want to build this at all. So we have to have the tails need to be stitched through, and then the tails get stitched through to the back, and then this is hand stitched and that's hand stitched. So if that gets hand stitched, it's not going to be a problem. How does the end work? Yes. I mean, there are other options. Like, I could leave like a side open and fold it inside out from one of the two sides and just hand stitch like a straight seam on the side, but that's not as simple as this solution. Right, I can't see chat for just another moment. I just need to double check how she does her liner. So there's the front liner, just like that, sleeves, the front liner. I think I've solved it in my head. I'm not sure. Solving the issues of the collar, making pockets. No one really cares about the pockets. No one cares about the pockets. I'm not doing pockets. Okay, so got two bits of liner folded over itself. Yeah. So we've got two bits of our outer fabric. Stitched. What if they were treated what if they were treated as one piece of material, because we didn't need the bottom liner of the camel? If we didn't need the bottom liner of the camel, then we could have the whole thing folded up, and then the outside is folded up to the same level. No, the outside isn't folded up. The outside is seam pressed because the outside's this. So this opens up. The back side is stitched. Front side goes on. It's like stitched through there, folded inside out, and then edge is pulled up, and then hand stitched. And it doesn't matter whether or not there's that, as long as we've got the seam allowance is capable of being pulled through, which is going to happen. Yeah, there is no problem with that. Okay, that's our solution. Yeah, that's our solution. The thing that I was checking is our inside liner isn't one piece of material, it's two. It's a bit of the outside on the edge and then the inside of our true liner, which is a really thin material. So you have the lapel of a thicker material, essentially. So if we have it where tail to liner stitch, tail to liner stitch, and then in brackets sealed. That's not how you write sealed. Whatever. It's a dyslexia moment. Sealed. Tail to liner stitched. Liner to torso stitched. Brackets open at joint to tail, tails stitched to torso outer panels. Torso outer panels. Torso liner folded and hand stitched. Write it down every time you run it through your head. Trying to remember previous thoughts is a nightmare. I agree with you there. Yeah, this is tricky. Okay, so the hypothetical order of operations, triple O, order of operations is, okay, mark and cut. Cut. Construct outer torso, arms, inner torso, tails, outer, tails, inner. Bum, 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 bum. Outer torso's arms, inner torso, tails, outer, tails, inner, arms, liner. There are so many parts, and each part is made up of more parts. Okay. Fuck me. Ooh, okay. Outer torso to arms. Outer torso to arms. Stop. Then we are gonna have. Oh, fuck me. This is tricky. So we've gotten to this step. We add the arms here. And in the same time that we do that, we can stitch the entirety of the tails. So we can stitch tails, outer and inner. Tails, outer and inner full seal. How do you write seal? Is it like a gasket, like a rubber gasket that seals a container? Is it S-E-A-L? It's not S-E-E-L, because that looks wrong. I think it's S-E-A-L, but that just reminds me of the mammal, which is, are seals mammals? I think they are. Maybe it's that one word that I can't remember off the top of my head, which is like a homophone, because it's the same. Seal, yeah, it is the same. Okay, yeah, it's a homophone. So tails, outer and inner full seal. Good fucking god. Tails to torso. Tails to outer torso. Right, so got torso, outer torso. We stitch arms to both sides. We flush out the tails. We then stitch them closed, seal them at the top. It's ugly. We then pin that on the inside. That gets folded up. Stitch through, fold up the seam, down stitch it, or understitch it, whatever. Then we take the liner, fold that in. So yeah, we fold it inside out. Take the liner, stitch that to it, so that I'll have our edges running through there. Stitch up the line. Stitch up the line. No, collar. Collar first. Yeah. So then it's collar join. Collar joint. Then it is lapel and siding. Make sure that those look like L's. Lapel and and edging, not siding. Edge of torso. So we do the lapel, and then we do the edge of the torso. Invest in a whiteboard. Draw each part as a section, and then. Thankfully, I don't need a whiteboard when I have a notepad that's smaller that I can take with me, and whose pages I can strip out. So, whiteboards are useful, and I used to have one, but you damage the surface of a whiteboard once, and it's damaged forever. And in this room, things get thrown around sometimes. So, yeah, it was filled with dents. Yeah, no. I can write down things. I can write down bullet points. And I have another book here. This is so once I finish the coat, everything is going to be written up in this book, and in just one section of the book, and it's going to be in its organized, annotated sections. Yeah, all the good shit. So outer torso to arms, tails to outer, tails outer and inner full seal, tails to outer torso, collar joint, lapel and edge of torso. Oof, big clicks, big clicks, big clicks. Sleeves, inner. Sleeves, inner. That's it. That is it. That is truly it for the coat. Yeah. Seal bottom of torso liner. Seal bottom of torso liner. So, in approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 steps. 12 steps. But run through each part again to make sure, yeah. 12 steps. Marking and cutting means to mark out and cut every single piece of fabric. There are, what I have here, whoa, hey, camera, hey, I'm here, hey, it still hasn't found my face yet. This is a face. It's here. It's not the model. It's me. Okay, my camera has forgotten what a face looks like, apparently. Fucking hell. Oh, no. There we go. It's found me again. Yeah, there we go. So, not covering my face this time. This is all of the parts of the coat. All of them. Minus the collar, ironically enough. Minus the collar at the top there. This is almost all of the parts of the coat. I'm going to see if I can count them. So, including the collar, which is 2. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 pieces of... No! Then the sleeves, which is another 4. 28 plus 4 is 32. Is it? Yeah, 32. There is a half stack of different pieces of fabric going into this. God help me. Okay. So. There is an estimated 32 piece count. And the tails haven't even been finished in how the tails are going to do. Plus tails, plus tails, plus tails. They're in there, they're in there. Yeah, the torso for the outside is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Torso is 5 pieces on the outside, plus sleeve, so that's 7. On the inside, 1 for each sleeve, so that brings it up to 9. And then we've got just 3 pieces, so 12. So it's 12 for just the torso. Tell a lie, it's 14 for the torso because we've got to include the collar. So that's, for just tails up, it's 14, and then the tails themselves have really complex edges that are going to need to be made out of multiple parts. No! I got the edging wrong. It's another 2, so this is 14. And then the tails themselves have really complex edges, so that's... So for just the edges along the inside of the material is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of material just for the edging, just to go along the perimeter. And then you've got 4 panels on the outside, 2 panels on the inside. That gets you a total of 32. So it's a big, big fucking project, and I'm an idiot for taking it on. But I'm doing surprisingly well at not drowning, so I'm happy. Ah, crikey. Right. Is there anything more that we can do in this session today with my energy levels where they are? We've overcome some brilliant hurdles. We've got the collar done, sorted, pattern done. Got the pattern for the sleeves ready to then mark and cut out when we want to. We haven't updated the side panels to that editing because it hasn't happened yet, which is fine, but it's on the to-do list, so that's fine. Better to have tried and failed than to have never tried at all. Yeah. We've got patterns are done. No, we don't have the tail pattern, and we haven't updated that pattern. Got the sleeves pattern ready to make the sleeves, to then stick the sleeves in, and then have that be stitched in. Then it's tails. Then it's tails to then stitch in the bottom, so we can figure out how long this is. And then from the tails, it's then going to be collar and lapel, and then stitching it up. This is tricky as hell. So what can we do right now? The next job is the sleeve, which I don't feel up for doing at 20 past 11. So we've been streaming for 2 hours 20 minutes. I think that's pretty standard. Usually we go for 2.5, but 10 minutes is fine. I'd rather not be stalling for 10 minutes and just keep it classy. When people congratulate you. Well, if you want more updates, you should join the Discord. which, let me type a command in, hold on. Ugh. I have a permanent link attached to my little modbot. Is the camera freaking out? No, the camera managed to follow me. That's a surprise. Right. Stage points, just scored. Boop. Oh, no, that's Discord. There we go. Follow that link. It's a pretty quiet server, but obviously you'll get notifications when I'm live, and if you want to opt in for them, it's a role. You don't have to. And I'll be posting stuff about the coat when we have stuff about the coat to post. Yeah, there is not much else to say other than I think I need a nap. So, good luck and stay safe. Absolutely. Thank you very much for hanging out and for chatting. It's always lovely meeting new people. I can't really think of anything else to do. I don't know when we will be next. Come on. Let's fucking pull the camera back over here. Hi there. Hi. I don't know when specifically we will be next streaming, but it'll be within the next week, I think. It might be the sleeves, it might be Skyrim, it might be, I don't know, it could be Lego. We've been, me and Chris have been meaning to stream Lego Harry Potter. We haven't been playing it, we just haven't been streaming it. So, yeah, that's entertaining. Who is that? Oh, thank you, darling. That's very sweet of you. But yeah, so I hope to see you around again. And I hope you enjoyed watching all of this. But I hope to see you when I next see you.